we can do $30 billion one single entity valuation with audit defensibility, meaning if any of the big four comes to us and asks, hey, why the price is that much, we can come up with a really sophisticated answer, which has happened, which has happened over time, because our clients usually get acquired or go through a merge or go IPO. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why we picked the build time.
Most private companies only find out their valuation once a year, usually during a painful, expensive 409A process. Today's guest is trying to kill that model and replace it with real-time valuation rails for the entire private market. Welcome to the Enhance AI Partners podcast, where we spotlight leaders re-engineering growth through people, process, and pragmatic AI. I'm Johan Mejia, founder of Enhance AI Partners. Today's episode is all about real-time valuation and how that becomes pricing infrastructure for the private markets. My guest is Tomas Milar, founder and CEO of Eqvista. Tomas has spent years building the rails around the private company stack, incorporations in Hong Kong, registered agents in Nevada and Wyoming, a neobank for startups, and now Eqvista, a fast-growing equity management and valuation platform with real-time company valuation at its core. We're going to dig into how Eqvista handles equity management, how real-time FMV actually works, and why Thomas believes the future of private markets looks a lot more like live pricing infrastructure than once-a-year compliance. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Jan, I have to say one thing. That was an excellent introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent introduction. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do it better. First of all, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be on your podcast. Again, thank you so much.
And we appreciate you being here. So let's start with how you explain Eqvista when a founder corners you at a conference. So when a founder asks you, okay, what is Eqvista really? How do you explain it in one or two sentences?
Equity management and pricing, stock pricing provider for a company.
Simple enough. Now, you mentioned equity management and valuation, so companies don't have to guess their stock price. What are the main jobs Eqvista is doing for a company day to day?
The most important product on the market, especially the private market, is the valuation. That's the secret sauce, and on any company, right? You see incredible rounds, massive rounds. I'm always joking that you raised on 120 multiple future revenue. Right, so and that's how you just basically land the valuation, and your story works backwards towards the story. So why you think your company is valued at $100 million without product and the pitch deck, right? So the valuation is a key element to anything. And we were lucky to assemble a team of I would say the best of the best valuation analysts, and build a knowledge and the practice where we can assess any asset and put a price tag on anything. Mostly these valuations are done manually, right? So labor intensive work with AI components and agents coming into play. We are looking at a big shift, actually, especially in our industry, where we see the shift from manual labor intensive 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 work on, let's say, a round company. That's how long it takes actually to produce one valuation, 15, 20 hours, right? Towards few minutes or 30, 40, 50 minutes job instead of hours or days. So that's where we see the shift. But we always will have one very important element, and the element are humans. Because even look at your firm, you still produce this podcast with yourself. There is no there is no avatar talking to me. We are real people, and I think the real in some businesses the human aspect, the real element where people interact will never change. Because imagine how would you trust a company without having real people telling you the great story, right? That your company is valued at $100 million. Obviously, it can be done automatically through AI, but how would you argue, right? So we work on a so-called reasoning. So clients can always object why the stock price is what we just provided, right? And the reasoning is very important because we listen to clients, and they can always come with a better explanation why the stock price is higher or lower, right? So that's important for the industry, that the human element will never disappear, because that's how we think we dominate the market.
100%. And I think you're given a few really good points of you're just making a process that used to take, like you mentioned, 24 hours and maybe multiple humans into a process that can be done quicker in 1 hour or less with 1 or 2 humans. So you're not only saving money for anyone that's trying to do a valuation, but you're also giving them stock price that is actually the most accurate based on all the data points that you guys gather.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So our advantage is, it's unbeatable. I might say now that we have probably the most skilled evaluation team in the world. We produce over $5 billion in clients' assets evaluations every month. In October, we did with a few very key players in the space over $30 billion in clients' assets valuations. That's a lot of money. Wow. That we were able to get it done in a very short period. It was quite heroic delivery time where we worked under pressure for few days. The client was in need. They were raising hundreds of million dollars, and we had to just simply deliver, right? And the valuation to be extremely precise. So that's something we can do.
That's amazing. Now, when you describe Eqvista's pricing infrastructure for private markets. So in your mind, when that infrastructure is fully built, what does it look like for a founder, a CEO, or a CFO that is, trying to look at their company on a Wednesday morning?
Let me start with the market, right? We have 13 trillion in private space, and it's only getting bigger. It's the pricing. It's a mess. You have a different prices of the same product, right? The stock of the same company, and that's kind of wrong, right? So we have a difference between preferred stocks, where you see stocks mostly distributed to investors. They're mostly much higher. Then you have a 498 valuation stocks. That's the opposite. You try to keep the stock price as low as possible because you're actually giving away stocks to employees and founders. So you want to try to help them to buy the stocks by lowering the price. But you need to be careful with the pricing, how you come to the price, because the IRS can come in and ask you, okay, so why is that low, right? Because you pay tax capital gains, and so that's the second price. So the third price might be, after the IRS comes in and object what the real price is. The fourth price could be the secondary market, and that's extremely interesting industry. I would say industry, industry. For one very simple reason, everybody's chasing liquidity. Liquidity market. Everybody's building $100 billion funds, and the business model. Hey, we build secondary market. They just build a platform, and then they chase the deals through Google Ads or sales calls or events. So they just try to purchase stock price or merge or link the buyer and the seller, right? And they should figure out what's the price. So in that case, you own $100,000 worth of company, right? It's worth $100,000. I'm buyer, and I come to you. It's like, hey, I say like, hey, Johan, can you sell it to me with 40-60% discount? But you have no reference, right? And 40K, and to liquidate the stocks, and 40K on some stocks which are not liquid, you would take it, right? You would take it. But what if there is a stock price, a ticker, for the shareholders? Let's say close platform which tells you, hey, it's worth $100,000, or it was worth $100,000 when you bought a company, but now it's worth $500,000. So all of a sudden, you, instead of selling it for $40,000-$60,000, you sell the stocks with little discount. Right, and that's very important for you as a shareholder, and also for the founders, right, or CEOs, CFOs, because what's going to happen is that if you would sell it for 40-60, then the founder would have a hard time on the primary market raise another round, because obviously investors could somehow find out that your stocks were traded for significant discount on the secondary market, right? But if there's a guidance where you can see that the stock price is that much, then it's a big opportunity, for the market. Not just us as a product builders, but even for the transparency, and I can even start what's beneficial for the companies, how they can benefit from that. But we can cover that later.
Now let's change gears a little bit, because Eqvista has been one of the many companies that you've actually built. So, what we did see is that they all live in, the private company stack. And we've seen that you founded incorporation providers, registered agents,
Yes.
a neobank, and now a valuation and equity platform. What problem did you keep seeing across Startup PR, Inc. Paradise, Checkly, and others that finally pushed you to build Eqvista?
I think speed. and pricing from the providers. You know, I was always against any massive sales, right? I was always extremely focused on providing information for free as much as you can, and then monetize the content, monetize based on the content you provided. So that was always very, very important for me. So with Startup Bar, we were focusing on how companies can be incorporated online within 24 hours. Now we can do it under 2 hours. So imagine you are in Indonesia, you know, or in somewhere in Myanmar, or in a forest in Germany, and you can get a company in 2 hours. So by the time you are back for a walk, you can have a entity and work on the product.
Let's see. And was there a specific moment that could be a messed up option grant, a crazy 409A quote that made you say we need a better system for pricing private companies?
So yes. Our largest competitor, they made a mistake. They raised just so much money. Obviously, that somehow they had to price up the clients, and charge them more. So that's technically why we are here, right? We don't want to overcharge our clients. I always build multiple companies based on extremely good conditions for founders. So the pricing is very important, speed and the quality. I don't think that you need to raise billions of dollars to provide a high quality service. That's
100%.
That's something I would always recommend to any founders. Because at the end of the day, I've seen that many times where people would be building companies and get busy with the product, conferences, meetings, and meetings of the meetings, and they would completely forget about it. Actually, hey, you're actually building the company for the client, right? I can give you an example. So me, rather than chasing clients at the conference, right? I would rather have a 5, 6, 7 calls during the day with the client and ask them for the feedback and build better product.
I see.
At the end of the day, you have a client's inflow. Take care of the clients.
100%. And that's, I think, a good recommendation for founders and CEOs out there trying to handle a little bit of everything at the same time. Just listen to Thomas's recommendation on how to handle that. And out of everything you could have focused on,
clients first. It doesn't matter how busy you are. Clients first always.
Always, 100%. Now, can you tell us why did you choose real-time valuation as the winning service or product for Eqvista?
I see a cap table as a commodity. Once you build it, it's a pipe from point A to B. And then you have different bathrooms and restrooms, and you just extend the pipe to other rooms, right? And once it's done, then it's done. The house is fully functional. The water is everywhere, right? But with the real time and the pricing infrastructure is different. So again, 13 trillion. We have a quite ambitious target to hit 1 trillion in clients' assets by the end of 2026. We have been working on this ambition for, I would say, a few months, and at the end of the day, it is really about price. Again, everybody's chasing liquidity. I think the market starts with the price. Money follows the price,
100%.
and that's actually what we try to fix. Cap table is done, right? Our product. We have one of the most skilled valuation team on the market. We can handle practically anything, industry agnostic. We can do $30 billion one single entity valuation with audit-defensibility, meaning if any of the big four comes to us and asks, hey, why the price is that much, we can come up with a really sophisticated answer, which has happened, which have happened over time, because our clients usually get acquired or go through a merge or go IPO. So that's pretty much the reason why we picked the real time.
I mean, that's amazing, and it's a lot of good, valuable information you can give back to the company and your analyst, with explanations on why the pricing is what it is at the moment. Now, let's get concrete on what Eqvista actually looks like today for a company that is currently working with you. So, let's say we signed up with Eqvista today as a seed or Series A company. What are the core things I can run on the platform from day one?
Obviously, you start a company, 2 founders, 1 founder. You can issue stocks, common stocks. First employees, you can build different vesting plan based on the time base, meaning you have a cliff period, 6 months, that's the probation period. Then you can vest the stocks based on different type of scenario, mostly 6 months. 6 months vesting, meaning you vest or you release the stocks options to employees every 6 months. Then you get a bunch of saves, convertible notes. Then you record seed round, A round. You can invite different stockholders so they can see the piece of the company they own. And in case and you're lucky, you can also run modeling, so you can understand how you dilute yourself based on the next round, or in best case scenario you get acquired. You can run exit modeling or run waterfall analysis, so you can see how much equity and what's the value based on a certain exit amount. So that's pretty much very important. Obviously, you can sign different stock certificate. We have a data room, and you are not alone. So we have a dedicated support, and we help you with a cap table onboarding.
No, that's fascinating. And is there anything that you've intentionally kept simple that founders often complain about in other tools or other
We are software first.
services?
We are software first, right? And we focus on the simplicity. You can build a cap table yourself. We haven't put any blocker, any contact us. Most of the companies they put a start now, then you click on them and there is a contact us. With us, you can build a cap table right away. you don't even need us. So we are really software first, and that was very important. And that is very important because we are a software company. So that's simple thing.
Now, on the valuation side, you're doing 409A, FMV, IP or software valuations, portfolio valuation, etc. How do you think about the balance between compliance on we must be IRS defensible, but also keeping speed and usability for the founder?
Yeah, we have done so many of them. It's just there, it's already in the process, so you don't even think about it. So again, we've been already audited by Big Fours because our clients got acquired, and part of the acquisition or IPO process is to examine the stock price and how the stock price was discovered, right? So it was always there. I built multiple companies which run on compliance first paradigm. so this was I didn't even think of that as it's a burden. Yeah.
I see. Now, the thing that really stands out and what you wanted to highlight here is, real-time valuation. So let's go deep on that next. So for anyone listening who's only ever done a painful annual 409A real-time valuation might sound almost impossible. So let's unpack what that actually means inside Eqvista. Tomas, I don't know if you're ready to share that demo.
Yes, I'm ready.
And pretty much what we'll see is just a quick demo on what a real-time valuation actually means and some of the features that you'll be able to see once you interact with the Eqvista platform.
Johan, so what we see now, it's a real-time valuation we built based on publicly available data. This is not our client, but as you can see, we can build real-time valuation out of very limited data. Obviously, we get closer to almost 99.9% accuracy as we get the data from the clients, right? So liquid depth, it's I would say so that it's probably here it's alternative.
Yeah, it's water, right?
It's alternative water. Yes, I think amazing company, worth of $1.4 billion. So if we pick the data, I asked my analyst to get the valuation done for this podcast. So what we are looking at is that the stock ticker, so you can see the price in real time. We operate on New York Stock Exchange working hours, so it's Eastern time. And the market, when the market closes, then it's off. So this is supposed to give you a better idea how you should run the company, and mostly for the CFOs, where and how to get the capital from the primary offering, meaning financing, or you can even get debt, equity debt, smarter strategic decisions, and most importantly, secondary markets. So you can also push this graph to your stockholders, so they can understand what's the stock price. And as I mentioned earlier, when you own $100,000 stocks, the stock price was $1, or let's say $10 when you bought it, and now it's worth 97. So you're looking at a $1 million worth of stocks as an employee when you started, right? So you immediately understand that I'm not selling for what I bought it for, right? So that's a game changer. And we have a secondaries, right? We have a private equity, we have a VC firms. They operate on very old models, and we are changing that, right? So we have we have quite a lot of experiences. Again, we have done over $200 billion in asset valuations. We have trained the model based on thousands of private companies. Again, it's audit-defensible. You can always sign the PDF document for the data room, which it sometimes needed. So PDF outputs ready for VCs, lawyers, and your data room or that providers. So that's what we have built. And imagine any company should have this. Any single
100%,
regardless of the
100%.
size. $200,000 revenue company or $200 million revenue company. It doesn't matter. You should understand what's your equity worth.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you because, I mean, this current pricing valuation that you can generate through Eqvista will give everyone a better idea on where we stand, as a company compared to other companies similar to us. Because I see you got beverages stickers right on the public peers section. And,
Yes.
I mean, they're considered like competitors, so I'm able to see in one single view how I'm doing, how other companies are doing. And like you mentioned, I have all the info needed so that I can tell my lawyer or the company that's purchasing us or acquiring us, we can provide all the info they need as to how we came up with the pricing valuation, which
Obviously,
I think is
obviously we are. This is just version 2, so we have already in mind version 5. We are looking at a hype factor, meaning how your company is overvalued or undervalued based on the market. But this is mostly for the shareholders, how you get your shares, and revenue multiple from a low, normal, or high scenario. So that's and obviously market news. You can see the history of the funding.
no, it's amazing.
And I believe this is the future. Every time I pitch this, everybody is like, "Hey, this has never been done before." The answer is no. It was not. Or people try, but they always fail on the accuracy. Again, we have done over $200 billion in client asset valuations, over 1,000 valuations, and that's the result.
And I mean, like you mentioned, this is version 2, and you're looking to improve. So, I mean, if we're getting this with version 2, I can't even imagine what we'll get with, like you mentioned, version 5 of Eqvista. Now, if I'm a founder, how often is that price updating, and what kind of data is driving the change?
It's a real time. So we have a multiple data, right? Like most importantly, we have our own data set. That's why the precision, public data, obviously, and the third one, if liquid debt would be our client, we would get the data directly from the clients, and if they would provide us the data on monthly basis, the model would be almost accurate.
Now, you mentioned during the prep that Eqvista is certified and it knows what it's doing on the valuation side. So, in a world where everything is AI now, how do you build trust around real time pricing in front of auditors, boards, and banks?
Are you asking for the defensibility or?
I mean, yeah, like putting myself on the shoes of a bank or an investor. You know, when they ask, "How do I know if this is accurate?" What do you usually answer? And I think that's one of like the most accurate or most repetitive questions. How do I know this info is real, or how do I know this is accurate? So, how do you answer that, and how do you handle
So
those
we have
types of
multiple
questions?
certification, right? So our team members are certified, so they follow evaluation codex, and we are able to defend evaluation with formulas or data we got, and it's similar. It's similar question to you know when you ask your CPA guy, how do you know that I'm supposed to pay? You know, $58,000 taxes or 20,000 taxes, right? It's just based on the formulas. And when you ask like, hey, can you provide me with the formulas? Yes, I will provide you with the formulas. We can touch, I would say, 20% of the basics of the basics. So, for instance, we get audited by the Big Four. We usually provide part of the formula where they understand immediately what we are doing. So it's similar. We have similar approach when our clients ask us that.
Well, and I think you've got that covered with, I mean, all the info I can see right here, and the certifications that you have in the back end, and also adding to, the tech and the certifications that you have. You also have a team that you've talked about briefly, where you've told us that you've hired, best of the best in the industry, and you're accurate and 100% sure that all the data that you provide is actually real. Now, you've mentioned that you want, about growing from hundreds of billions under administration towards trillions, and that's the goal for next year. So, paint the picture for us. What does the private market look like if Eqvista fully succeeds in that goal and gets to that $1 trillion?
There's 1,540 unicorns on the market, and we would like to come with a simple tool where we track all the unicorns out there. We have a tool, we have an idea how we're gonna do that, and I think that's gonna put us the largest evaluation provider or private market intelligence. Let me put it this way. It sounds fancy, but it's gonna probably end up that way. So that's what we want.
And
Bloomberg,
in the future,
Bloomberg for private market.
now do you see Eqvista as the pricing oracle, sitting under a lot of other tools, banking, secondary markets, fund reporting, or just as the main interface people use?
You know what? There's there is so many things actually you can do, especially for the funds. There's just so many different tools, as we are building different products. So I'm looking at what actually has been built or what school or, to just understand what's happening, right? And I think companies, for some reason, they love to go to the different segments and build different products, which is cool, right? But unless you understand the market perfectly, I don't think you should do it. You can acquire companies, right? Having and just let them alone, but unless you don't cover the whole market, I don't think you should be building something else. So for us, the software as a service, powered by AI, delivered by humans, pricing infrastructure, 1 trillion asset under administration, powering the rails, the pricing rails. That's one simple thing, and it's a pricing, stock price. Anything else, I think that at this stage, or even though in the future, is not important for us. You know? Yeah. So we want to just be the leader or probably the only company who done that, right? And we have a big advantage because we have 5 years, 6 years experience and advancement. So we're gonna stay where we are now.
Now, over the next year or two, where do you see AI adding the most leverage and help? Is it producing better, faster valuations, better
Speed,
portfolio
yes.
level insights?
Yes, I think speed, and with speed, it's a cost. So we have a client fund. They would to value the whole fund, they would end up paying $400,000, right? Which it's quite a lot, time consuming, and it's not efficient, right? So companies just rather do that themselves. It's not audit-defensible because it's biased, right? So I think the cost is the most important thing, you know, and the real time piece, you know. So it's an innovation, definitely, that the managers will be able to see how the portfolio performs because of us, right? And the speed. So you will be able to afford to get the valuation done, you know, for your fund. Because, you know, then you have fund admins. They usually have allocation for each service they can spend money on. For lawyers, you know, SaaS products, and we would like to become part of the suite.
Well, thank you for sharing that answer. Now, we're about to go through the lightning round, which is the last segment, where we'll go over 5 questions, and we want whatever comes first to your mind. So we'll get started with the first one. What's the most overrated metric in startup fundraising?
I think the retention. I think VCs are obsessed with retention regardless of the growth, and I don't think it's important. You know, if you grow, you double, triple the revenue. You know, and your revenue kind of sucks. Retention sucks, right? And you don't go, you know, for ridiculous amount of money. I think it's not important, right? At this stage, that's what I see, right?
Now, what is the most recurring error when it comes to funders going through cap tables and valuation time?
Just, you know, it's a mess sometimes, so we need to clean it up.
Let's see. Most underrated use of a cap table that founders usually ignore.
Stock distribution. I think they don't distribute stocks properly to stockholders.
Now, talking about stock price, one thing you wish every founder understood about their stock price.
is your wealth. So you should understand what's your value, because everybody's actually building a company together, to exit at some point, right? Or at least partially, so you can buy a house, car, put money aside. So that's what I would.
Now, one last question. What is a book that you personally recommend, that you personally like, and a book that you would recommend to founders, CEOs, or anyone trying to start something?
Any book? It's from Adam Smith, the Wealth of Nations.
Yeah.
I'm capitalist, and I think the capital, even though some people would regard the word capital as a brutal or too money-oriented term, but if you look at all the countries past 50 years, when they opened to the world, it just lifts people from poverty, better education,
100%.
healthcare. I think that's it's a system, not really necessarily money as a obscene tool to buy expensive stuff, but as a tool how to lift the nation from being in the 17th, 18th century to 2025, and the exchange is very important, So I'm always also a big fan of Milton Friedman,
100%.
and how he was actually explaining how inflation works, and the free market. So to me, free market, any book related to free market and the Wealth of Nations was actually a founding stone for me when I was at the uni. So
that's so funny because those are the first two books that I read back in college here in Guatemala. They're Capitalist, and Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, was the first book I read on capitalism, and then on my second semester we jumped to Mr. Milton Friedman. So I share a lot of the.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. So
Yeah,
I wasn't far off that.
I share a lot of what you think on capitalism, and how, I mean, everyone, even the countries that are not capitalist, quote by quote, are capitalist at the end of the day, and like to show like China. I mean, China is the most communist red country in the world, but they're one of the most efficient capitalist countries ever in existence.
Yeah.
So I mean,
capitalism more than Western world.
Yeah. Now, we're going to be going through the summary and the closing. So let's do a quick recap on everything that we've listened today. So Thomas has spent years building around private companies, incorporations, registered agents, banking, and Eqvista is his bet that the private markets need real pricing infrastructure, not just annual compliance. Today, we broke down how Eqvista handles equity management and valuations, and then dug into real-time company valuation tools, turning stock price from a once-a-year guess into a live input founders can use to hire, issue options, and talk to banks, using certified valuation methods plus tech so companies stay audit-ready while still moving fast, and building towards a world where millions of private companies can be priced, compared, and financed on rails that look a lot more like public markets than the old 409A checklist. Underneath it, there's a simple idea behind. If founders and employees actually understand the price of their equity in real time, they can make far better decisions about building, raising, and owning their own companies. Thomas, for any founders, CFOs, or investors listening who want to explore Eqvista or see the real real-time valuation in action, where's the best place to send them? Your website, LinkedIn, or somewhere else?
I can actually share my my email, Tom at Eqvista, EQVISTA.com. I'm always happy to chat or give any advice. I think, again, we are building for founders, and you are my priority.
Perfect. So you heard him. I'll leave the email right below in the show notes, and feel free to visit the Eqvista website. I'll make sure to include that in the show notes as well. Thomas, this was great. Thanks for taking us behind the scenes of what real pricing infrastructure can look like. And if you're listening and you know a founder who's still running their cap table in Excel or trading valuation as a once-a-year chore, send them this episode. And if you want more conversations with operators actually rebuilding the rails of finance and operations with AI, subscribe to the show and connect with me on LinkedIn. We share clips, breakdowns, and growth plans from every episode. Thank you for listening. Thomas, thank you again for joining. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.